All right, good evening, everybody. Today's date is the 5th of December. Tomorrow is a new week. Basically, the beginning of the month already started last Friday. And basically, here we are. Okay, so you're currently looking at ES, basically futures. I usually use ES and SPY basically to navigate the market. I use ES basically to dictate tomorrow's move in SPY. They go hand in hand. Also, you can basically go to SPY, turn on after hours trading as well. Basically the same, it's a similar move to ES. These are like one of my favorite setups here. That's why like I'm not overly bullish yet. Basically last Friday, where I messed up was I was just too aggressive on a Friday. And usually when I trade on a Friday, it's usually profit taking the first 30 minutes to an hour. Then after that, I wait till about lunchtime to start looking at same day expiry SPY trades. So last Friday, as soon as I got back in, everything was better. I opened up the laptop, had a better visual, better idea. I was actually focused on building another position, which I'm going to go over as well too. So me overlooking everything, I wasn't focused on the key levels. I had no alerts on for SPY. I don't trade with alerts on SPY for same day. Unless like I'm waiting for that price, unless it's far away from that price and I want it to hit literally before the end of the day, basically looking for a bigger move. So what I'm going to do here is, this is SPY. I'm going to turn on, let me see if it has futures on here. Nope, it doesn't have it here. So I have to do it as an equity, which sucks. So here's your SPY with extended hours turned on. Now, I'm going to show you guys this setup. It's why I'm not bearish just as of yet. Let me get a bigger picture, actually. Let's go 2-day. And actually actually can only go 2 hours because we're using extended hours. So give me a second. Let's go to 4 hour. Okay, extended hours turned on. Disregard the levels you see there. Those are basically with extended hours turned off. So here's your SPY H2. No, see, this is why I like ES. I can't do it. I can't do it here. I can't. I like ES. So let me do it with ES. I mean, you guys seen my watch list for now. All right, so much better with ES. Much cleaner. So basically where I draw the line for SPY, I'm going to make it as simple as possible. So I'm going to use Wednesday's opening 4-hour candle for the first half of the day. That's going to be the range that we are currently stuck in. A lot of people weren't paying attention to that. So I'm going to simplify it for everybody. So here we have 45.07 and we have 46.13. We are already at midpoint. Midpoint is around 45.66. So what's possibly going to happen here, because what I don't like about this is it's more of an inside candle. So I'm going to basically break it down to you guys. I'm going to do it closer up. Now pay attention to this. So we're using Wednesday's candle. This is actually Wednesday's, right? Is this Wednesday's? Hope it's not after extended hours. Well, it's extended hours, whatever. So we're using this candle here, right? And we're going to use this range. We're going to focus in this range because that's basically where we've been stuck at this whole week, starting from Wednesday. Now, there are two things. I'm actually going to open up this. Give me a second. I'm going to annotate something real quick. I'm going to use a drawing tool. Now, the first thing was this move here. Now, what you see here, this box that I've basically highlighted, it started with the first candle, and then you had these 3 inside candles. What are inside candles? Basically, inside candles basically end up inside other candles. And I'm actually going to break that down to you as well. So we're going to use, like I said, this big candle here. We're going to focus on that, the high or the opening, which is here, and the closing, which is here. So that would be your range. Now, the next candle you see here remains inside that range. Remember what I told you guys what the range is. Let's go back and highlight it. The range is this candle's high and this candle's low. So the first candle is currently there right now. The second candle is also still inside this whole range from the top to bottom. Let me actually make this a little bit clearer because, you know, some people, they're like, still confused. So I'm just gonna do this. Use range, high range. Well, all right, hold up. There we go. So we're gonna use for high range here, and then we're gonna do another one for low range at the bottom. And arrows going to be, we're gonna do this arrow, but in red. Make this thicker, perfect. Next to range, so boom, top of this range, and this one of this range. So it's basically the low bottom of the square and the top bottom, the top high of the square. So let me actually move that back. I'm just trying to make this as simple as possible because people still ask questions when it's broken down simply, right? So this is your range. Now we have, like, let's go back to our drawing tool. Make this back to what it was before, change color. Now, this is the third candle. Here's your fourth candle. Now, as they are, the first, second, and third candle are currently inside this candle. Your fourth candle remains inside that candle, but it opened and it closed down, leaving these three candles inside. So we call those three inside candles because it basically, the fourth candle opened up down as well, similar to the first candle. When it's yellow, it's down. When it's purple, it is up. But then what happens after that, the candles go three inside candles, these three, down to the lower range of the box. And then what happens? It goes inside. Then following candle goes inside up to here. So again, now you're focusing on trading two things, 4613 and 4566. This is your new range. Why? Because your last candle here closed above these four candles to the left. Now, and also it closed above 4566. So that's your new support. Now, what happens is you have a following candle go right back inside, which is still remains inside this candle. So it's going to get a little bit tricky here, but pay attention. So now this candle is still inside of the main candle. So that makes that 5 inside candles. And like I broke it down to you guys before, these 3 candles are inside the main candle and the 4th candle. That is considered 3 inside, but also 4 inside due to this large candle here. Now, this next candle, the 5th one here, this big one, is also inside. So that makes it 5 inside candles. Then again, 6, 7, you get it, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. Okay, that's 13 inside candles. And I'm going to break something else down to you, because when you look at charts and you just look at patterns, you can see the obvious. So remember this range I told you guys, right? Inside this rectangle. This high, this low. So we're using this high candle and this low, the closing and the opening, right? Now, despite all that, remember your first candle, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The 10 candle is close to breaking out. So it's close to breaking out of our main candle to the left. But what happens, the 11th candle does the same thing that the first 3 candles to the 4th candle did. Now it's inside 10 candles. Now this candle basically engulfs the move of these past candles here. creating another inside. So you're still playing this one big range. Your main focus is this candle here, right? So that's your main focus. And then what happens, we bounce, we basically almost broke down, and then it created a hammer, which rejected the downside, and we're back inside the range again. Now we're, what is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 inside candles. Your next candles are going to end up either here and break out, which would put us above the 14, 13, and 20 SMAs, your red, green, and blue lines. Now, what you have to watch here, because there's a big possibility for everybody that is short, there's a possible, could be another inside down here. So we have so far, again, 2 insides, similar to this move over here, where it was 1, 2, 3 insides, and then we have a down move. So either these can continue to go up, it could be a 3 inside, and then followed by, I don't know, Tuesday, come back down. That's possible. Or it can hold 456, 4566, that level, and break up to 416 and 13 and touch that. But despite we're inside of 4613 and 4505. Watch this video over and over of this breakdown right there, because that's how I do so well with lottos. I do so well with catching bottoms, calling tops, you know, the best entries to exit, the best entries to get into a position, the best entries to short, the best entries to cover, AKA roll from going short into going long. Now, SPY, this is going to be a tricky week. It's going to be an interesting week. If these levels hold, we are looking amazing for tomorrow. Our 452 calls are in the money. They closed in the money, and that was the goal last week. I broke it down to you guys. What was the trigger for me? I'm going to show you guys this. So the 2 days started 12/3. Tomorrow is 12/6. So last Friday was the 3rd, and Monday is the 6th. So this candle is not even done. Now here's the tricky part. This candle right here is not even done. This is a 2 day. I'm going to break down this 2 day. These are one of my favorite setups because this gets tricky. The wicking. This is like a triple wick, similar to triple witching Fridays. So let's focus on this. We're still inside, right? This is an inside candle. I had 2 insides, and then what happened? It went inside down. But this candle is not done, so it is not confirmed yet. Now, if this candle closes below this range here, let me break this down. Like, I'm giving you guys some detail in this. Now, this range here and here. If this candle right here, this current candle right here, closes below this, we have to watch out for 45, 66, 42. But from how futures are moving, from how futures are moving, we are closing back inside of this first candle here. Now keep that in mind. This is a vacuum to the 20 SMA. Now, if they keep us in between 45.66 and 46.13, we have a higher chance of going back testing 464, well, 4643, that level, 4,463. I mean, sorry, 4,643. Oh, so many freaking 3s and 4s. All right, so here, we're looking for this candle to close within this range here, this lower range. And based off this wick here, you have 2 wick bottoms, and you have 2 wick, well, somewhat 3 wick top, but we don't know yet until Monday, well, tomorrow. So the way they're pushing it right now in this 2 day, and this 2 day opened up today at, I think, was it? Oh, sorry, let me just go over this real quick. This candle opened up at 45.87.25. No, that is not true. Oh, that's it. That's exactly what it did open at, which was Friday. So that makes sense. Let me go to a daily chart because I want to break something else down. Let me close the annotation. I want to focus on ES, and I'm focusing on it because SPY is a gift. SPY is amazing once you learn SPY. And a lot of people say, I want to see you trade SPY. You should just trade SPY. SPY is so easy. It is. And I should just be trading SPY. Now, these are one of my favorite setups. I'm going to tell you why. This is a falling channel, correct? Now I'm going to show you a more conservative channel here. It's more sideways action. More sideways action gives it time to see what they're doing with the price, right? So this one, it went like this. Came down, bottom of the channel, build, broke up, hit the top, which is resistance, came right back down, just started building this same pattern that you see today. This is one of my favorite patterns. It's the pattern of indecision. This one right here is called a box, one of my favorites. Now, what you see here is that same pattern, but falling as opposed to going sideways. As you can see, what happens when it went sideways, when it was basically on a slant here, or we call this an asymmetrical triangle setup. And what happened, it got aggressive and it just kept breaking down to new all-time highs. Now this here, depending on how it builds, if it builds, it's going to sharply possibly go up aggressively because it's more steep. It's actually falling, not basically trending as an asymmetrical triangle would do. What's an asymmetrical triangle? I'm going to break that down to you. Asymmetrical triangle would be this. Here. And then you would use this and it looks just like a triangle. And it breaks out, it broke out, hit a resistance, came down to support, hit another resistance, came down to a key support. And this is why I'm not aggressively bearish, because look at this. We are at a key breakout area, the retest, 4,500, sorry. And look at that, look where we are at. And again, we have somewhat of another channel developing here, a rising or asymmetrical triangle. I don't excuse the lines. Let's make this a little bit better. Here, you have a ascending triangle. This is called an ascending triangle. Now what's going to happen is price is possibly going to just build up into here, down, go up. It's going to like probably go crazy vertical, come down, false breakout, come down, or whatever test here. It depends on how they want to build this. They can build it to where it's like this, come up, test all your 14, 30, and 20 SMAs, come right back down, keep building it like they're doing right now with these long candles, build it, and then take it out like that. That's what I'm seeing. Breakdown is basically below 45.07. I got to plug that into my tweets because I think 45.07 was very important months ago, possibly August. Any key breakout prices are definitely future supports or future key levels to look over. All right, so this is where we are. So we're basically testing this high candle. I mean, this, well, opening candle here, previous daily candle, which that was 45.87.25. That is the target for that candle. Now, if they do close that candle somewhere around there, we want to see the next candle to open around 45.66, bounce off there, then break out over 46.13. But like I always tell you guys, vacuums always happen. And this is going to be where our vacuum are, is our 14 and 30 SMAs. I mean, we can also do a prediction range box, which I use boxes for the ranges. So basically be similar to drawing this. So this is the range for this candle. So if that range is similar, I'll just basically move this over. Oops. Hold on. There we go. And I put that like that. So that means we're going to hit 46.13. This is exactly how it will look. and then possibly bounce off of 4,600 and just take flight back to 47.18. Not sure what's going on, but this is a very conservative 1430 and 20 SMA cross. Very clean. I'm just really good at, and I just want to say this, I'm really good at looking at traps. Traps are very important to look at. Trap setup. These are trap setups. Like, remember when they pulled back, like people was like, oh, doomsday. This is a conservative pullback sideways. This one is just like a quicker pullback. Get everybody that fear monger, this variant bullshit. Sorry, excuse my profanity. But it's not even that serious. They just wanted to see what impact it has to help sellers basically get out. I mean, I would like 5,100. Why I would like this, and then I would like a crash. Why? Because it makes sense. They've been pushing so much BS for the longest to keep this market up. Like, why not? We build, break out, come up here, get aggressive, start here, and just here. Right here. Take us there, and then take us here. They can do it as sharp as they want. Or they can keep this going on into the new year. Make it look like a triple top, quad top, break out, and possibly reject here, and then come down. But we need a correction, a nice one. All right, now let's get out of that. That's basically ES. Now we're gonna get to Meli. I want to get to Meli because I like this chart. I like the setup. I like where we are currently, but I like to look at both sides of the picture. I like to look at the short end and the long end. So I want to go back on when we were short Meli. When we were short, and I still got the video, when we were short, I said it's going to be a nice W pattern. We got our W pattern. That's basically when we were short and why we went short. And that return was in 2 weeks, like the move alone. It was the gap down and then the continued gap down. So from 1,700 to 1,400. And then we stopped playing it because of the sideways action. But if I draw just some simple trend lines, you can see it was just a cup and handle. That's the handle to the cup, or inverted head and shoulders as well. You can definitely see the cup there. Then that breakout. Now, I said we're gonna hit sub 1,000. People were basically against me. You know, I definitely said 1,200 first. I stopped playing Meli because the short was like I get annoyed. Like, we got a 6,000 to 8,000% run on Meli, and that's playing multiple strikes with 2 weeks time, a month time as well. And when it starts to slow down, which was from 10.4, let me show you here. I just want to break this down to you guys. When it started to slow down, which was here, when it topped, that's when I was like, oh, okay, it's time to get long, The long started playing really well. It was around 1,500, the long started playing. So we played this long, it worked out. Then we kept trying to play the long. And that's when I just gave up, like, okay. And then it started going back down, and then this was the move. Like, when you follow your gut, your strategy, and it works, and then people tell you things like to make you change your mind, or they believe in the company or anything like that, you have to learn. It doesn't matter, even if they tell you to hold or sell or whatever, like whatever. I'm not a fundamental guy. Fundamentals is not my thing. Like, they're all lies. You can get an upgrade and the stock will tank. You can get a downgrade and the stock would freaking rip. I've seen it all happen. I've seen great news get sold into ERs. It's a perfect example of how the market works. You can have a beat out freaking earnings, and what happens? Stock tanks.
not about fundamentals, it's about price discovery. And what I mean by price discovery is they're selling it to where in the future, that's where they want the price to be. And it's at a good price to start getting long again, you know, and they're just waiting. So, that's what happened here. So this is Meli. Looks super bullish, super bullish. Now, the target would be 95, 955. And but I would like to see this 1048.51 hold. Now, based off of this overnight session, I want to see what happens tomorrow, because on the 2-hour aspect, it looks beautiful. It looks like a top in a sense. Get rid of these annotations, but let me zoom in this a little bit. And I gotta turn off my extended hours because I don't use extended hours during live, only for ES. Okay, let's get rid of these annotations. Okay, here we go. Okay, here we go. Boom. Coming up. Now here, this is very interesting. This could be like a candle combo on an H2. Can also signal a top as well. We're way off of the 14 SMA, top of the channel. Just been riding off of that. Now this tops here. Get some nice rejection. I mean, it's usually tops similar in a sense. Let me show you something. I look at everything on charts. I look at past moves. I look at past setups. Like, let me show you. Where's my tool at? Something like this. I wouldn't mind a breakdown, fake breakout, and breakdown here. Similar. Getting somewhat of a similar move here. Breaks off of this level, moves up, breaks off of here, 14 SMA roll up. And then that happens. Smaller range. So as these big range candles start to slow down, that's when you know buying has stopped. And this is inverted. So I'm going to give you the standard. So the H2. Let's clean this up again. Everything that I'm applying in a chart, I apply it in every single ticker. Everything I'm showing you, how I trade SPY is how I trade every other ticker. Rejection here. Now, if this 1065.52, which is also 1047 inverted, we have a range. Everything, if you look at everything like a range, it makes the trading easier. So significant levels like highs, lows. So 848 was the next level if this 1065 didn't hold. But I'd rather use this for now and focus this as the new range. 1065 holds. It breaks below this whole box range, basically where it's at now, and it's coming down. But if this is the bottom of the short term or not, we're going to see something similar to this. Let's pay attention to how I'm going to do this real quick. Nothing goes straight up, right? I'm just going to, it's like basically going into the days. Like, the goal is to get above the 14, 13, and 20 SMAs. Acts as a new support. You want to see something like this, a roll like that. You want the SMAs to act that way. Orange, green, purple, orange at the top, green at the middle, and purple at the bottom. And then that's what you see here, right? So let me show you. This was sideways action. I did it here. So the bounce would be something like this. Ooh, I don't like this on the 2-hour. Let me get a daily chart. I want to show you something. Look at everything. Vacuums happen. The breakaways going up, same thing. Everything happens like this. I always use prediction boxes as well. Prediction boxes work. So this is once it broke down below. It took this range to retest the 14 SMA. Here, when it broke from the 14, 30, and 20, and then it hit it here, retested it. So I'm going to just take this whole box and I'm going to move it from here. Now this one was different. This one was more extended box, more extended range, which this box lines up close to this next level here. So if I bring this back over here, so the move is right here, not too far from support. So this is what I'll do. So this is your support level here. This box is at least that far from support. So I'm bringing this box and where this one dropped down, started here. And this support is basically similar. Now I be want to see a build around 1065. I feel like that spike end of day to the pushback down was a sign what we're going to see this week. So I'm giving myself till Tuesday and tomorrow. I have my prices set of what I'm watching. So daily, this is your weekly. The ugliest part of this chart that makes you want to like seriously like just like, oh, this is a POS here. This is trash. The quarterly is disgusting. And when I look at the quarterly, when we first shorted it, this is exactly what I wanted. This vacuum down when we went short. That 1401 break was the key. That's called a 3 inside or a triple glizzy down. Candles couldn't even close outside, and then boom, what happens here? Now there's more downside room to test the 14 SMA. This will not be a buy until early January if they can't bounce off this 1065 and hammer it. That would be sick. I mean, anything is possible in this market. You have two scenarios. And now if I show you this, me showing you the chart makes you look, you're thinking like, you know what, I might as well just continue to keep shorting. It makes the most sense until the 14 SMA. And then what will happen, it'll bounce there and possibly have a next quarter and move somewhere around 1200, 1300. You'll stick to the Marches. This is the initial quarterly. But this chart is hideous. They would have to do a nice bounce, and that needs to start happening now. The low of the month has to be in starting now. So let's see what happens. So I wanted to give you that perspective. We got Chewy. I don't really want to talk about anything that doesn't need to be updated. Levels have not changed, downside or upside targets. Chewy, this is a tricky one, but I love it more and more. But I see both sides of this playing out. I see the short and I see the long. I like to use bigger time frames. It comes the nerves because you get to see the bigger picture. It has not changed its levels. Now, if this is the perfect setup, this level has been a key buy, which was also a key breakout level. And if that is that, the best trade here would be to take the January 80 calls. But if this fails, the best trade is to short with the 40, what was the 55 puts, and cover, basically roll out into 60 calls for January, 80 calls for March, and 70 calls for end of January. It's been tricky. They've been selling. We have ER coming up too. And I like to use boxes for ERs as well. I go over each basically ER in the past and I look at everything. So let me show you. So here, this was an ER here. This was the range. Another ER was here. This was like whatever. You had this one, which was a dump. So now my thing is we have a setup of descending triangle. And that breakdown leads us to 5121 here. But if this does perform well, plus it's a stay-at-home stock as well, stay-at-home ticker, which when COVID picks up, these are the tickers to play because everybody's at home now. They're just ordering things. So I move into, well, we have our monthly closing candle already happened. So let's see where it closed at. Okay. Now this is tricky because this is the first time that you see a 30 SMA is developing on the monthly chart for Chewy. 14 is already developed, 20 developed. Now you have a 30 SMA developing. So with that being said, that 30 SMA looks like it's the supportive SMA. So now for December, this is going to be tricky because I'm seeing a move like this. If this is the bottom, which I'm going to say is the bottom for Chewy, the best time to buy is March calls, to be honest. So if a pandemic does happen, Chewy's going back over 100. But I'm going to break something down to you. So let's use this range. I'm going to just move it over. So this range, similar to this one, almost a similar size. Let's open this up a little bit. Let's bring it down a little bit more. So let's just use this one as an average range, close to this one. Now this, if this is the bottom, we're using this orange moving average, the 30 SMA here, that line. It touched just as close enough to it. So what's going to happen is for this ER, we're looking at Chewy testing the 20 SMA, which is 73. And then after the 20 SMA, it's looking like a nice vacuum to 8109, which is hour 14. Anything above that, we're looking at we went from, like I told you guys, the inside candles. Let me show you. Clear this. This is another, using this candle here, these inside candles, and what happened, it went inside down. But this can bounce, and this can go right back inside and close up around 90. Depends on how crazy this is going to be. I mean, I'm seeing 100 call buys, so possible engulfing here. Anything's possible. You guys see what happened with TTD. And they report this Thursday. So if you're playing this one by time, play the short side and the long side. You can do a straddle, 55 puts or 60 puts. See what they do this week. See how they push this one. So this week is going to be a lot of focus with SPY, Meli, Chewy because of ER. I'm looking at a couple of names. XLU, I'm watching. I'm actually looking for leaps for that one. Rivian is another one on the list. That's another one I'm watching. I'm gonna be watching. I'm gonna learn. I'm still learning it. See how quick it moves off of a little bit of news. That squeeze it had. That was awesome. But I want to take too much of you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, I'm going to open up the question box. I'm going to basically stop recording now.